Welcome back. We are here to talk about this Carl Danby etched Ignition Sabers Subversion. This was done in a Smaug theme, so there's a lot of dragon elements. We've got dragon scales in the grip. We've got the painted eye. And then on the back side of this shroud here, you can see him flying over the Misty Mountains. At least I think that's the Misty Mountains. And then I provided a dual crystal setup, and we use the regular chassis that came with it. So let's hop down to the table. Let's show off some of the features, and then we'll talk about what went on with the install, some of the fonts. We'll hop back out. I'll show off a couple blade styles and just to show that it's working, and then we'll wrap it up. So here is the Subversion. Now I've already got the battery in and the grip on, but to operate this saber, when you're ready to actually turn it on or off, you're going to take the pommel off. And here we'll see our 24mm KR bass speaker. And we've got two shroud set screws here. We have two different Allen keys. Now I'm using my Allen keys because I wanted to keep the provided ones in the baggie. I mentioned this in the other video for this client because this is a pair of Ignition Sabers that were etched by Carl Danby, the other one being a Ocularis that had a Sauron theme, but essentially they're going to have some of the same setup, but I wanted to keep that with the baggie. But this says, this uses two Allen keys, one for the grip set screws, one for the blade set screw, which is up here. If the crystal chamber is facing you, it's on the right. But that will be your blade set screw, and it's the smaller of the two. Now again, there's three that come in the baggie. The third one is an Allen key for the bunny ears on the Ocularis. But again, that's not a necessary Allen key because you're not going to be disassembling that. In fact, the Ocularis, you don't have to disassemble anything with set screws. So just wanted to provide the client back with that. So we're going to take the grip off with these two set screws. Now keep track of these little set screws because they're a specific size and length, and you'll want to make sure you're doing this over a table or something. So, and then the grip slides off to reveal the Proffie. That's a V3.9 running OS 714 with the FET263 prop file. And here is our 18650 battery access. So spring side's your negative, always nipple to nipple. These are the provided contacts. So depending on your battery, definitely you're going to not want to use a flat top battery. You're going to need one of the regular, I always just recommend Key Power 18650 protected cell. These were designed with the protected cell in mind because there's a little bit longer of length than some of the vape 18650s you might get. But that's it. There's no kill switch. This taking the battery in and out is the kill switch. So we'll put the battery back in.
Never before has any voice uttered the words of that tongue here in Imladris.
And that is the boot sound for the first two fonts. I mentioned this again in the other video, but what I did was reach out to a font maker named Samuel Tardiff. He provided Azzy of Azzy's Workshop, Azzy Showcase, some fonts that were for a specific Lord of the Ring themed run he was doing prior to gaining kind of popularity in the community, and then actually working with Ignition Sabers. But so I reached out to Samuel and got those two fonts because they're Lord of the Ring themed, and this is a Lord of the Ring theme. So we'll put those set screws on, and then we'll put our pommel back on, and now we can actually operate the saber. So again, this has a 24mm KR bass speaker, 18650 Proffie V3. We have a 2 crystal setup. So there's a single neopixel accent under each of those. Some of the fonts will have different animations in different colors in the crystals, just because I wanted to mix it up. We have a Shtok V3 neopixel for the emitter, and that'll just mimic what the main blade does. And then we have our two dome tactile buttons. Top is your main, bottom is your aux. So if we want to switch fonts in the off state, we'll hit aux. And then you'll notice sometimes you actually have to fully press it. If you want to go backwards in the fonts, we'll point it down.
The black speech of Mordor.
So that is the name of this first font. It's the Black Speech of Mordor. It's kind of a a Sauron theme. So for that blade style, we do have the FET 263 Sauron eye as our blade animation. But if we switch here, kind of hard to tell with the lighting here, but this is a lighter color. It's showing up yellow from what I'm seeing on my screen, but it's more of an orangish. This is more of a flame blade. This is called Grond, and I believe this is more of a Morgoth themed font, but because it does sound flamey, it goes very well with this Smaug themed saber. So that's kind of the idea that so the first font would be for the Ocularis and the second font would be for the Smaug. So that was kind of my idea, but hit power and we're good to go. We do have twist on, twist off, and thrust on, and those do have battle mode. I'm not going to cover that here. And for the rest of the fonts, they're going to be pretty much either Canon fonts or basically the fonts that came on the Proffie from when I bought a batch of Proffies. They just came full of some aftermarket fonts. They're not full versions of those fonts, but they're very good ones, and they cover the gamut of like Canon, non-Canon, like video games, television shows, and then there's a couple just out-of-universe ones. So I wanted to provide all of them.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she will.
And I don't know if you can tell, again, here, I'll turn this light off. We've got a green lower crystal and a blue upper crystal that have different things going on.
Lord Vader.
So these similar colors, but different animations. And I am noticing this aux button needs to be fully pressed. So it's a little bit more finicky than the top button. So this takes a 1-inch diameter neopixel blade. Let's hop back out, show that off real quick. However, I'm going to demonstrate with my 7/8 quantum blade, and I'm going to use a 1-inch adapter. Again, this does, let's switch back down real quick. This does require the set screw here, and you'll use the smaller of the Allen keys. So just make sure the blade's resting on those pogo pins. Set that down so we got good connection there. And then we can twist on, twist off.
Master wouldn't do.
There we go. Now you can see some color differences. So again, these are all stock fonts that came on the Proffie card. I did add some more fonts to the card, but they're not programmed presets. I've only programmed maybe a dozen or more presets that will cover all of the Canon colors, a couple outer universe fonts just for fun. And then again, those two fonts that were provided by Samuel Tardiff to match the Lord of the Rings theme. I mentioned in the Ocularis video, but I also provided the Proffie OS voice packs from Brian Connor. So for instance, all of the Canon fonts will have character things. So we're on Mace Windu, but let's go back to
Lord Vader.
Vader. So we definitely have a Vader. If we do like a battery level or a volume level, we'll hear each person's voice. So let's do that real quick.
Enter volume menu. Maximum volume. Maximum volume. Maximum volume menu.
Master wouldn't do.
Enter volume menu. Maximum volume. Exiting volume menu.
And then if we go back to Luke.
Lord.
I'm a Jedi, like my father before me. Battery level, 93%.
So you'll get them guiding you through if you do use the edit mode features to either change fonts or change colors or do anything like that. But otherwise, there is I'm forgetting what character I chose, but I chose a character that sounded menacing that matched kind of the Lord of the Rings themed. It's one of the ones that he provided. I want to say maybe, I can't remember what I did. But anyway, so that being said, we've got a number of other fonts. Let's go back up real quick.
I am a Jedi.
The black speech of Mordor.
So again, this is the black speech. This is the Sauron theme. So we're going to have the Sauron blade. This has a very long preon, but I think if you twist on, you'll bypass the preon. Just get the blade. So. And then this is now the Grond sound font from Samuel. And this is the one that's more of a Morgoth theme, but the sound is kind of flamey, so I chose a flame blade to kind of go with the Smaug theme. And I'm probably over-pronunciating that word. But yeah, we have a real flame blade, and it does the thing where if you invert it, it comes up. You'll have to forgive my autofocus here. All right. But the very last preset is our battery level indicator. So it's programmed for a 36-inch length. The further out it is, the more charge there is. And then as it depletes, it'll come towards the hilt and it'll change from this blue down to a red. But as I demonstrated before, in the off state, if you hold aux and tap power, you can get a percentage.
Battery level 88%.
So that's the menacing voice I mentioned. I think that's Savage Opress, actually, because it sounds like, what's his name? Clancy Brown, I think's the actor.
The black speech of Mordor.
Anyway, so again.
If you will not turn to the dark side, then perhaps she.
So I have chosen a soundtrack for each preset, but there's also the track player mode. I've mentioned this in plenty of these installs before, so I won't go through everything. But if you hold power in the off state, if you're upright, you're going to get the pre-selected track. If you're in any other position, you're going to start track player mode. And as you rotate, you'll go through them, and it's alphanumeric. And I put a bunch of them on the common folder, so you can scroll through them. As you find one you like, if you want it to stop scrolling through, hit either of the two buttons and it'll keep playing. And depending on which button you chose, it'll either continue to play from there, or it will, I don't know, it'll start and stop. I forget what all of the features are, but anything that's not covered in this video will be on a printout. And anything that's not on either of those two things you can learn about on the FET263 website, because again, this is using his config, his prop file.
Master Windu.
Master Qui-Gon.
At last we will have our revenge.
I know what I have to do.
We got a Kylo Ren.
Rey Skywalker.
Here's another example of where I've done something different for each of those crystals. So this will be one of those out of universe font presets. This is heavy. I want to say this is the blade style that came with it. Yep. So. All right. So that is the Ignition Subversion in the Smaug theme. To the customer, appreciate your patience with these. I will have a separate video, like I said, for the Ocularis that's also kind of tied in. And then both of these pretty much will have relatively the same preset setup. But again, the accent lights are a little different because of the variations between the hilts. So if you have any questions, let me know. To everyone else out there, thanks for watching, and may the force be with you.